Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I have a question for you that I want you to think about. What is your life's biggest dream? Did you think of it yet? You might have a question in your mind. How is that related to the topic of my story? And my talk is called How Many Hugs? So my name is Andersone. I'm a startup founder and social movement creator. And today I want to share with you my very personal story that will tell you how this question of how many hugs is related to fulfilling your life's biggest dream. I started my recent startup in 2012. It's called Frunt. It's a responsive web design tool for web designers. And we built it with my team. I had been by that time in the business of advertising and graphic design for 10 years. And we realized that there were some new things emerging in the web design field. Namely, responsive web design was becoming a trend. And there were no responsive web design tools in the world, so we decided to be the team to build the first one. So with Frunt, we started off building this product, making research, and we decided that we're going to raise investment and to do this really innovative, first thing in the world product. So I started a startup, and that requires a lot of energy and time. I would go on business travels, I would need to go and meet investors. And actually the first thing that we started with was we went to Finland for a Startup Sound accelerator. But the thing is that at that time I also had two very young daughters. My younger daughter was only 8 months old when we got accepted in the accelerator. So I took her in my arms and we went to Finland together. My older daughter was 3 years at that time and she stayed home with my husband, her dad. So I realized that doing all of this, building the startup, would not have been possible without the support of my husband. He was there for me, supporting me emotionally and taking care of the kids when I had to work. So that was really important. But building a startup, believe it or not, has not been my life's biggest dream. It was something else. And while building this startup, I almost failed at fulfilling my biggest dream. How did that happen? So with Frunt, we raised 500,000 euros in investments, and we got more than 100,000 users worldwide in more than, I think, like close to 100 countries. So it was kind of a successful startup, but about 2 years into the company, we had finished our runway. So we ran out of the investments. We had invested everything in the product, but the revenues were not growing as fast as we had anticipated. So I was left with this stress on a monthly basis. How are we going to pay all the salaries? How are we going to continue developing the product? It was stressful for me, and it was stressful for the whole team. And we also had the famous founder fights. We would have founder meetings where I would leave the meeting crying, or when I got home from work, I was so stressed out I would want to drink wine from a bottle, not even using a glass. And the worst part was that at some point I lost the support. As I now realize, my husband actually burned out. And I don't know if you've had the experience of being together in a relationship with a person who is not happy about what they're doing, not fulfilled in their lives, or even worse, depressed. I can tell you there is not much support that you can expect in that situation. And that happened to us as well. And I have to confess that at some point I realized that I felt like he didn't love me anymore, and that we would probably get divorced and make up those 50% of divorced couples statistics that we have around the world. And so that was how I was failing my biggest dream. You see, my biggest dream since I was 8 has been to build a family that lasts. I was dreaming of having a family that has Christmas together, at least 3 generations, happily together, in peace and harmony. That was my biggest dream, and I was failing it. So having this lack of support at home, stress at work, and realization that I'm failing my biggest dream led to my burnout as well. I burned out and I got really ill, And for 2 months, I couldn't get well. But I kept going to work because I thought that I have this huge responsibility in front of my investors, in front of my colleagues, my team, and also our clients. And when these 2 months passed, my doctor said that I have to quit work and focus on getting well because otherwise it's going to end really bad. So I told my team that I need 2 months to get better. And with my family, we rented a small apartment near the sea so that I could get the fresh air that I needed to get well. After about a month, I started feeling better. And I realized the first thing that I'm not going back to the startup because it had become a toxic environment for me. And there was this question, what am I going to do next? But another magical thing happened during that month. Not only I healed, but also our relationship with my husband healed. And that was really amazing for me. I felt like we're back to when we started dating. And I'm a fan of research. So I was reading a lot of research during that time. I had time finally. And one research that I'm a huge fan of is the Harvard Grant Study. It's the biggest research on human happiness done in this world. They have been studying more than 700 people for 75 years, measuring almost everything about these people to try to figure out what makes a happy life. And the main conclusion of this research is that warm and close relationships that we can trust on make us happier, healthier, and wealthier. So I thought, okay, this is my biggest dream, to build a family that lasts. But actually, this should be the goal of everyone because we need to build these warm relationships to be happier and healthier. So I thought this is going to be my new mission. I'm going to talk to people about building warm and close relationships. But how do you do that? And I had this personal experience. So I kept researching about that. And I found out that in many researches, physical contact was mentioned as a very important thing to build close and warm relationships and in the long run. And it's based on science, because when we touch, when our bodies touch, we have skin-to-skin touch. Then the oxytocin hormone is released in our bodies. And the oxytocin hormone is responsible for trust and bonding between ourselves. When we touch and hug every day, we build up this level of oxytocin in our bodies, and we build this trust, and it doesn't disappear. But if we miss it, if we don't have enough of it, we can easily lose this bond. And that is what had happened to me, and I think might be happening to others. So I thought, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, I build products. How could I remind people to hug their close ones every day? And then I thought, okay, so what prevents us from touching and hugging each other every day? And I realized that we're busy every day. We meet for a short period of time. And when we meet, we are fully dressed. And so I thought, what if I could build a product that is clothing, but has secret passages that allows us to touch each other and connect without others knowing it. So this is what I started. My brand is called Be With. It's clothing for hugs. So basically, it's dresses and sweaters and t-shirts that have these secret passages on the back where you can put your hand in and touch the wearer's skin without anyone else knowing it. It's a secret that you have. So you can do it wherever you want, whenever you can, and you can connect on a daily basis. So I came up with this idea, but then I thought, okay, I researched that there's no other product like that in the world. It's an innovative idea. I want to do this. I want to build this product. But fashion and textiles is the #3 polluter in the world. And I was pretty sure I don't want to pollute the world anymore. And I think we live in this age when that should be part of the core of the business, that we think about sustainability. So of course, I thought of how I can build that into my product. I only use eco-certified materials. I use dead stock fabric whenever I can. And I think of my design as being timeless and minimal, so that people don't need to buy new things every 2 months. And I also invested a lot in testing the materials, the product itself. I was testing it for more than 1.5 years before I launched it. And I think testing and prototyping is a big part of building something innovative and building something sustainable, because testing the materials was very important in providing the longevity of the product. I'm wearing my products on a daily basis, and I think I can wear them for more than 2 years, washing them regularly and not losing any of the form or the colors. So that is important part of that as well. But so having an innovative idea is important, but thinking about the core of the business, how you build the supply chain and make everything sustainable, is also important. Now I want to finish off with the main message of my products. We should hug our loved ones every day. And if we come back to this title of my speech, how many hugs? So how many hugs a day do we actually need? The famous family psychologist Virginia Satir is quoting that we need at least 4 hugs a day for survival, 8 hugs a day for maintenance, and 12 hugs a day for development. So I want to encourage all of you to remember that and think about ways how you can involve more hugs in your daily lives with anyone that you're interacting with. And I know that today it's hard for all of us because we are not allowed to touch and hug in public with our friends. But let's think of how we can somehow, at least a little bit, kind of compensate that with having more time and closeness with the people that we are together with. And maybe we can find that someone that we can meet and that we can share this bonding and trust-building activity with. So how many hugs do you have every day? I invite you to count that and try to get to those 12 hugs that bring you development. And these hugs will build you a support network that will support you in anything you do, and in that way also reaching your biggest dream. Hug daily and reach your biggest dreams. Thank you.